This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so the server-side troubleshooting is already done. Now today we will see the client-side troubleshooting. Okay, so in client-side troubleshooting, how do we identify whether the client is healthy or not? Okay, understood. The client, suppose if you have thousands and thousands of computers, right? Let me open Word document. So in this session, I'm going to show you how we can identify whether the client is healthy or not. Okay, so client side health check and troubleshooting. Clear?
Yeah.
So suppose if you have, let's say this is your SCCM server, okay, and you have like thousands and thousands of computers. For example, you have 20,000 computers. Some computers are in London, some computers are in Mumbai, some computers are in New York. So in each and every computer, you need to install SCCM client, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you have to install SCCM client. This is what? This is SCCM client. Now this client has to talk to the management point. Management point, right? So the client is talking to each one of them. I mean, the client is talking to the management point. Management point keeps all the policies, all the instruction. The client will send inventory data, right? And then the management point will store those inventory data into the database. Understood?
Yeah.
Clear? Now, SCCM client is SCCM client plays a major role, okay, to manage the devices. If you suppose this one, the client is not there, you can't manage this device because the client is not there. Suppose if you have the client, but it is not talking to the management point, the connection is not happening, right?
Yeah.
Then it is as good as the client is not there. Understood?
Okay.
If the client is there, but it is unhealthy, right?
So on this,
Unhealthy, there. Uh,
so you got the client installed, but when you look on SCCM, it says no, as in.
yeah. So if the client is not healthy, right? If the client has some issues, right? If the let's say the firewall is uh, blocking here, let's say firewall issue, there could be many issues. So firewall issue, okay, understood. The client has to talk to the server, but if the firewall is blocking, the client will not to the client will not be able to make connection with the management point. The client, let's say it is not installed properly, so installation issue can be there. Okay, installation issue. Clear? Third
Yeah.
is client does not know its management point. Client is installed fine, but it does not know its management point. Okay, so the client will not be able to talk to management point. Client will not be able to talk to SCCM server. So the client will not be able to get policies. So we can say policy issue, or we can say communication issue. Communication issue. Okay, understood. There could be one more issue, and that is WMI issue. WMI repository issue. Because repository issue, because in every machine you have WMI repository. In each one of them you will have WMI repository. Okay, the client will communicate to WMI repository, and then it will gather all the information and pass on the data to management point. Let's say the client needs to know about the operating system of the computer. Client needs to know about the RAM of the computer. Client needs to know the processor. The client needs to know the installed software. Everything is present in this WMI repository. In every machine you have a WMI repository. It's just like a small set of database. which contains computer information. Got it?
Can you get that computer information from SCCM, for instance, like what hardware that particular
Yes,
device has?
we can get it until and unless the client sends the information. For example, this machine is Windows 10
Yeah.
and this has 10 installed software,
Okay.
and this is let's say this has 4 GB RAM,
Yeah.
okay, and one processor. This machine, when you install the client here, right, when you install the SCCM client here, client is gonna scan this machine. It's
Okay.
find out the information from where. It will find out those information from Wmi repository, because Wmi repository will have all these information. So Wmi repository will pass on the information to client, and client will pass on the information to management point, and finally management point will pass on the information to database. Okay, each and every
So
computer
yeah.
does
So
like that.
if I go on the SCCM console, where would I find that information? If
That we already discussed in the resource explorer. If I go to devices here at the left hand side,
yeah.
right, and we will have all our devices here. Okay,
Yes.
we have already discussed about the resource explorer. Okay, let me close it and open again. Looks like it is. Okay, let me go to devices here. Okay, so let's say you would like to know about this one, the client in this machine, right?
Yeah.
So right click on this database, for example, and then start, and the resource explorer. So whatever the client has sent the information about this machine to SCCM, you will be able to see them all here, like hardware information, right? So these
Yeah.
are the
Yeah.
hardware information, like auto in that database machine. These are the software installed, which are auto start software, BitLocker, computer, right, disk partition, disk drive, installed executable, installed software, memory, motherboard, all these information we are getting.
Right.
So how we are getting this information? So basically we are getting the information. This client is scanning the machine, taking the information from WMI, right? Because WMI is the local database of the computer. So in every machine you have WMI repository. It will take the information from WMI, right, the client, and then client will pass on to management point, and finally management point will pass on to database. Clear?
Yep.
So now if the client is unhealthy, for example, the client is installed, the second one, it is inactive because the client last time it communicated with the server on 10th of March, 8 days back, right? 8 days
Yep.
back it communicated. So 8 days back, if any client which is not talking to this management point for the continuous 7 days, it will be marked as inactive.
Just
Okay,
on that, Kashif, you know where it says client and you got yes. So I have a machine where we have the software center installed and the config manager installed on the PC. But when you go look at the client, it says no.
client no,
So
you see SCCM Pune client no,
yeah. But
Windows 10 client no.
but you go on that PC, it has the config manager software center
Client
installed.
is installed. Yeah. So basically there could be issues like this, as I mentioned: firewall issue, installation issue, policy issue,
Okay.
communication issue, a WMI repository issue. There could
Okay.
be issues
One of
like
them.
that.
Okay.
Yeah. One of them, or uh, one more than one issues.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so the client which is either not yet installed, so here the client is not yet installed as per SCCM. I
Yeah.
don't know whether it is installed or not. That we have to find out until we log into the computer,
Yeah.
right? The second one, it has the client but it is inactive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you fix that? I think this is the machine. Let me turn on power on this machine. I think that is the machine. I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
So it was fine until 8th of March. I think 10th of March, I think, right? It was fine. It was communicating. We got the hardware information, right? We got the software information. It was communicating to the management point. No, software scanning was not happened, but hardware scanning was done. And that is, we have the date and time when the hardware scanning completed, right? Let me log in here. Okay, so I just logged into this machine. This machine was off, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we'll see whether this machine is able to ping to the server or not. So I'll right click on the start button, right? And
Yep.
then choose a command prompt. Okay, run cmd, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do ping the server.
Okay.
Okay, it's running very slow. Ping SCCM PS server. Okay, sorry, not pinging. Ping MECM PS. Is it pinging or not? We will verify. Ping MECM, right? MECM. Yes. Yeah, it is pinging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Running very slow. Okay, let me restart, because this machine has only 2 GB of RAM. So that's the
Oh.
reason it is not working properly. Okay, so okay, the ping MECMPS is pinging, right? That's
Yep.
the first thing, right? It's pinging. The second thing what we have to do is we need to find out whether the service is running or not. So let's go to services.msc. Okay. So if you do this, you will be able to fix most of the issues related to client.
Okay.
SMS agent host, whether this is running or not. So you have option to restart. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the main service. This has to be there and running all the time. Okay.
Okay.
The second thing is you need to check Windows management instrumentation, whether that is running or not. WMI repository, this one. This has to
Okay.
be running all the time. Okay.
Okay.
Then Windows update, whether this is running or not. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The three services you have to check, and all of them should be running.
Yep.
Then you have to check the installation log file, whether the client was installed successfully or not. Okay.
Okay.
We'll have to find out whether the client was installed successfully or not. So C drive. So we will identify one by one. So first of all, firewall, there is no firewall issue. We were able to ping the machine, and from
Yep.
SCCM server, we'll be able to ping it back. Okay, so
Yep.
let me do it from SCCM server. What is the machine name? This is the machine name, right?
Mm-hmm.
So pinging. So
Yep.
both, either ways it is pinging, both ways it is pinging, right? So
Yep.
I don't have issues. Now we'll go to C drive and we'll go to Windows and then CCM, sorry, not CCM, CCM setup, and then logs, and then CCM setup.log. We will verify whether it was installed properly or not. If it was installed properly, then it will have CCM setup exiting with return code 0.
Okay.
Okay, exiting
Yep.
return code. CCM setup is exiting with return code 0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was installed successfully. I don't have problem with that one. Okay,
Okay.
so installation issue is also fine. So I don't
Fine.
have installation issue. Now the policy issue, we will verify whether the policy, the client is able to communicate with the server, the registration happened or not. So for that you go to see Windows CCM and then logs, and then there is a log file called client ID manager startup. This is the one which shows you after installation it has to register, whether it is registered or not. Client is already registered, and when it happened on 12:33, like 2 minutes back,
Yeah.
2 minutes ago, it was registered successfully, right? Then
Okay.
we will check location services. The location will say whether it is communicating to the right management point or not. And that is fine. You see the default management point, and it is talking to the right management point.
Yeah.
Understood? So
Yeah. Yeah.
we are all good so far.
Yeah.
So policy issue, communication issue, we have checked. Now the last one is WMI repository issue. It could be Okay, sometime it happens that the WMI is corrupt and the client is not able to talk to the this thing server, right? The client is not able to get the proper information from the Wmi repository. So you go to Windows, see Windows System 32, and in System 32 you have a folder called WebM, and you have repository folder. You should have a repository folder, and all these are what? These are the DNA of the computer. You see, in
Okay.
every object, like let's say human being, they have the DNA
Yeah.
which gives every information.
Yeah.
Okay, you see, yesterday I was reading one article wherein two ladies were working in one organization for quite some time, and after they got the DNA test, they found that both of them are sibling.
All right.
Yeah, so the DNA gives us the information. Similarly, this is the DNA of the computer, which gives, in every machine you will find it. If this DNA is corrupt,
Yes.
then the client will not be able to communicate with it, because all the information, installed application, the computer hardware, the computer software, everything is present here, and the client is taking all the information from here. Sometime if you are deploying updates and it is not happening, because it does not know how many updates are there because of this corrupt. Okay,
So how do you know
so
if that's corrupt? Oh,
how do we know that's corrupt? Basically, we will not be able to know until we have some issues.
okay. Okay.
Okay, so when you go to SCCM server and
Yeah.
then right click and refresh here, it's active now
It's active. Yes.
and it is green
Yeah.
and it is communicating fine.
Yeah.
12:06, 2 minutes
Yeah.
ago,
Yeah.
right? So the problem was the computer was shut down. Simple. There's no
Simple. Yeah.
other problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, suppose if you have seen that this is still not happening, this is still some problem, what we
Yeah.
can do, we can open command prompt here. CMD run as administrator, or you can right click on this machine and then
Yeah.
choose install client,
Mm-hmm.
right, and choose next, and you can choose always install. This will reinstall the client, and this option, it will uninstall the client first and then
Okay.
reinstall. The first one it will repair, this one will repair. The second one it will uninstall and reinstall. So
Yeah.
I would suggest you always use this one, this is second one option. Okay,
So always install the client and uninstall
yes, both the
both.
checkbox, so that
Okay.
it will
Yes.
uninstall, a fresh installation will happen.
Yes.
So next finish, it will uninstall and reinstall. But sometimes this function is also does not work,
Okay.
so you will have to do it manually. So how do we do it manually? First you have to uninstall the client. How do you uninstall the client? So I'll show you. CD Windows CCM setup. You have to go to this folder and then
Yeah.
type in CCM setup.exe space /
Uninstall.
uninstall. When you do that, what will happen? Let me close this services. Let me close this. It is gonna uninstall the client.
Fine. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
understood?
Yeah. Yeah. Then can we manually install it?
Yeah,
Okay.
manually install it. Okay, so the uninstallation is going on. Let's verify whether it is uninstalled or not. So we'll go to C drive, Windows, and then we'll go to CCM setup and continue, and logs and CCM setup.log. Looks like it is uninstalled. Okay, we'll open the log file in Notepad and go down till the bottom and exiting with return code 0. Clear?
Yeah.
So what we will do after the uninstallation is happened, we will delete the leftover folders. These are SCCM related folders, right? CCM setup.
Yeah.
I'm gonna delete them, both of them. Okay, so this CCM setup is not deleting because it is open. So let me try again and continue. Skip. Okay, so the CCM folder is not getting deleted due to some reason. Okay, because it is still being utilized, some of the files inside. So what we will do, we'll restart this. Okay.
Okay.
Let's power off. Okay, power off will be quicker. Power off means plugging off the cable,
Yeah.
the power cable. Okay, so now we will try to delete that folder. Okay,
Okay.
so so it will be a fresh installation altogether. And if you refresh this one, you will see cross mark now. Not yet, but you will have after a few minutes. This will be a cross mark. Okay. C drive, Windows. CCM is the leftover folder, right?
Yeah.
So we'll delete that one. Okay. So this one, CCM is gone, right? Now what we have to do, we need to also, for safer side, what we do is we repair the WMI repository as well. In case if WMI repository got some issues, we can fix that one as well. How do we do it? You go to Windows Management Instrumentation thing, right? And choose restart. Sorry, not restart, you can't do. You have to choose pause. Clear?
Yeah.
When you pause it, and then you go back to system32 folder, webm folder, and you can delete this existing database, the repository. Got it?
Yep.
So that is gone. So it is like a fresh one. So I'm gonna click on resume. Give me 1 minute. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that is restarted, right? We
Yep.
restarted, and repository folder will come back again.
Okay.
In few minutes it will come back. Now in the meantime, what we will do, we will copy the client folder, the SCCM client folder. So that is MECM. That's on the primary side, right? So let's connect to the primary side, MECM/C$. That's our primary side server, C drive. What happened? MECMPS/C$. Wow, it's not connecting. Ping MECMPS. Okay, so I think I will have to take the IP address. Let's try that. C$. Understood. Okay. MECMPS $. A device attached to the system is not functioning. Okay, looks like the network issue or something, we will copy it from the server itself. So I am now on the primary side. Okay, from the primary side, what we will do, we will copy the folder. And where is the folder? That's in C program files, Microsoft Config Manager. This is the location, and the client folder, this is the one which I have to copy on the target machine. Copy. Got it? Clear or not?
Yeah.
And we'll paste it on that machine. What was the machine name? That's there on the server. This is the machine name, right? So machine name is / desktop hyphen 4s r007g/$. Understood? So this is the machine, and I'll put the client folder here on this C drive of that target machine. In C drive. So on the target machine, Windows 10, I copied this client folder. Let me go to client 1 machine and go to C drive, and I'll find that one. You see, this is the one, right? And I can try installing this one, SCCM setup.exe. So let me open the command prompt. So it's a manual installation now, not from the SCCM. I'm installing manually. So run as administrator. But before I do that, I have to make sure the repository folder came in. Repository folder has to come in first. Okay. So we'll go to Wmi folder, and repository folder is still not there. If repository folder is not there, you can't do the installation.
Okay.
Okay. So let me go ahead and go to services again. It will fail. If repository folder is not there, it will fail because it will not be able to find out the operating system of the machine. So that is Windows Management Instrumentation. I'm gonna click on pause again and resume again. So repository folder should come by now. No. Webm. We can also try restarting. Let's see. Will that help? I think I can't restart, but let's see. Oh yeah, there you go. Restart worked. The repository folder came in. Continue.
Yeah.
And it will it will try to find all the information back and put it in the repository. Currently, you see the size is less, 1664 and 2704. Now, if I refresh, your size will get increased. You see, size is increasing. It will keep gathering information again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the repository folder. Now let's install the client. So where is the file? That's in C drive. CD client folder, and inside that we have SCCM setup.exe, and hit enter. That's it. So what I did is I have reinstalled this SCCM setup. What it did, it copied the folder in C Windows CCM setup, right?
Yep.
In C drive, Windows, and CCM setup. It is it copied the folder and it is installing again. It will take few minutes and the installation will happen and this machine will get the healthy client. Okay, clear?
Okay. Yeah.
So that is how we do the client troubleshooting.
Okay.
So in this session, I showed you firewall issue, installation issue, policy issue, communication issue, and WMI repository. All these things we troubleshooted, we check the health and we troubleshoot it. Okay. Officially the session is over. Now, if you have any question or queries, we can have a session anytime. You let me know, like a day before we will do the session.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.